At some point in my life, I decided to take what I have and call it a blessing. Be grateful, not just satisfied with where I am. I wasn't always like this. I remember my wedding day when I was 28. During the ceremony, a few critical things went wrong. Well, they didn't go the way I'd planned them. And I struggled to be in the moment. Something truly incredible and beautiful was happening all around me. But my mind was calling me to focus on the thing that wasn't right, that no one else even noticed. In the limo, between the ceremony and the reception, I was trying to calm down, get my head right, while people were honking, waving, rolling up to our window while we drove down the highway. As I totally freaked out, my new husband watched in horror, thinking, what have I done? Who have I married? Needless to say, I got myself together. I went on to enjoy the single best wedding reception I've ever attended. It was amazing. Things happen the way they're supposed to happen. It's all about what you do next. Over the 24 years since that day, we've moved 3 times, birthed 3 kids, held 9 jobs between us, and built a life. 6 years in Indiana form the nucleus of that life. I worked on the north side of Indianapolis, and we lived on the south side of Bloomington. An hour and a half commute each way. A request for 1-day work from home was denied as too disruptive. It would set a precedent. So I logged 15 hours a week on the road. I never complained once. Who was I to complain? I'd been able to stay with my company and secure a promotion 1.5 hours from the university my husband would begin his career as a professor. That job came with a vehicle with all expenses covered. And my husband and kids got to spend their days in a wonderful college town with a supportive community that we built. So I used those miles to my advantage. Long conversations with loved ones after I'd finished the required NPR segment, which meant I was always on top of the news. And when required, a work call here and there. That truck became my private corner office for 6 years. I never complained once. But I will tell you this, my last commute, when I handed in that truck and finally arrived home, I could feel the weight of those 6 years of windshield time. As we prepared to move to New Jersey, I was thankful and relieved to close my road warrior chapter. 3 hours a day on the road every weekday was tough. I'd missed a lot. So that day, I let it all wash over me. And then I packed it up and moved on to the next chapter. Imagine if I'd complained for 6 years about my horrible commute, dreaded getting on the road every morning, saw it as a curse instead of a blessing. I would have lived those 6 years dreading my everyday reality. Instead, I accepted it and looked for the blessing wrapped inside. Things happen the way they're supposed to happen. It's all in what you do next. Do you see a blessing or a curse? The way you characterize your reality has more of an impact than the reality itself.